I'll make that record this, and then you start talking. Oh, you can't record. No, you can't record on two different things at once.
I see.
That's stupid. Oh, because you need an interface to that, so you'd have to fucking OBS it, which would ruin a lot of the fun of this. Ooh, that's a good sound on a kick there, though. I wanted to start that up on the closed tab, but that kick was just sounding a bit too filthy, you know?
Sounds like a nice echo.
Hmm.
This is the Dissonant Waves show. You've tuned in at the right time. And now it's the wrong time as things go catastrophically wrong. The studio is on fire. And we've now burned to the ground.
Motherfuckers don't know music till they heard a noise set.
People don't know how to DJ until you start switching between the bass version and the high version.
This song's called Construction Zone. Sorry, Destruction Zone.
I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Thank you. One more song. One more song.
Encore, 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 encore.
No, wait, we can't do that with Jay-Z now.
Do you know any blind equation?
I'll stop recording after that. That was 10 minutes of pure chaos. That was great. 200 megabytes. Let's go. Oh, that's my next EP. Trix says 20 minutes and we'll be talking in the Uber. She's happy for us to start.
Okay. Well, I'm already recording, so hello, welcome to Dissonant Waves.
When did you start recording?
4.5 minutes ago.
Okay, was that after I finished playing with this little toy?
No.
Okay, so we got a bit of the shit noise in there.
When I started doing the announcer stuff, I was already recording.
If anyone's wondering why Dissonant Waves became a industrial noise set, it was the next natural evolution. Come on, be realistic.
We are just going to glom onto every music scene possible and do every possible thing in it.
In celebration of last episode of the year, I've brought in my toy. This is the Korg Beats, the Korg Micro, I think it is, or whatever the fucking Volca. That's the one. It makes such noises such as this. And I will occasionally play throughout this episode to annoy everybody. We've already created a 10-minute live set of me and Dominic, so I don't know why else you're here if not for the tunes.
They're here to see what we're up to.
Shit, what are we up to? We had no real albums this week. What, we picked an EP.
We did an EP.
Yeah, which I did listen to. I did make sure to listen to it straight away, and I can say comfortably whilst enjoying it. It didn't affect my rankings at all.
It did not affect my rankings either.
I think I'm sure when Trix comes, Trix will be a little late today. That's just us going through some classic Dissonant Waves organization. It's never gotten better than this. Yeah, should expect it by now. But she will join. She will join, possibly in an Uber. So that should be some classic times halfway through this podcast. And I'm sure she'll give a quick thing. And I think we didn't pick it because we expected to really be talking about it. I think we more just picked it because it's a case of, all right, everyone make sure we have listened to this. But I guess for a bit of sake, I think we should spend probably just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
talking about it for the sake of it.
We've met Raccoon Love. We've taken pictures. And Trix and I have taken pictures with him and everything. And
yeah.
No,
I don't know him personally myself or anything like that. But I've been along for the ride. Cassette Runner, which was a December 2nd, 2021. So that falls under the very early December rule.
Yeah.
That still, despite that, managed to get my top 10 EPs of 2022. I thought it was a very cute, little fun EP. I thought its short runtime helped it. A lot of the songs benefited from being a lot shorter. And this still kind of falls under that same vibe. But my biggest issue is that it doesn't feel like they've evolved or anything like that over the long time that they've had to do this.
I mean,
it just feels like a bunch of the same, and it's not hitting the same.
Now the EP is getting lost is cool, just to say that. But
yeah, yes,
I will disagree a bit, in that I will say I think the instrumentation has definitely gotten better. It sounds like they're leading into like more punk. And those sorts of like instrumentation that may seem simple or easy, but needs a degree of just like concentration and like work. It's not just banging out some beats, even though there's literally a track called Neil banging out some tunes on MP3.
Mm.
Like the singing is still the same. There are still elements of it that are still the same, but those sound like skeletons on t-shirts I could not see happening on Trashy.
Now, just for everybody to be enjoyed, if you heard that come through the mic somehow, I am about to go through a thunderstorm. That happens when it's fucking Sydney in Christmas time. We like to get really hot and then really fucking wet. It's like Dominic's dream night, except with lightning horrors.
You're still describing my dream night.
Oh, okay, well, fair enough. Honestly, as a fucking Christmas present, we should have just sent over a plane ticket for Dominic to come over here. I would have taken him to the saunas.
That would have been so much money for you.
I know, but that would have been your dream vacation. Apparently, Sydney's the gay capital of Australia. It's just have fun.
I'll have to meet all of my friends that I know from Australia.
Me and Pete.
I know a couple other people.
That's possible. I mean, we've talked with a couple of them throughout the year and over that, but not all of them live in Sydney.
That's true. None of them all do.
Some of them live in Melbourne. Some of them probably live in Brisbane. I don't know. There's also like a whole west coast of Australia, and that's not even going to the central part.
Yeah, there's a whole continent out there, actually.
And don't forget Tasmania. I sure do.
And New Zealand's a separate thing, but still there-ish.
That's not Australia at all.
Antarctica's also around there.
We do have a bit. Yeah, there is a bit of Australian territory in Antarctica. So.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, because Antarctica's got a territory from a bunch of nations.
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, research teams and all that.
Yeah.
Obviously, political nature. I mean, theoretically, most countries have territory from from other nations with embassies. What are we on about? Oh, Raccoon Love. Yeah, it's okay. that's just how I feel. It's I like Stars. I was kind of disappointed that we didn't kind of get anything from when they released that Kid Rockstar single. I thought that was going to be the build up to something, but it seems like it was just an offshoot that they released, and
sometimes it happens.
It's fine. It's fine. I think I feel the same about this that I did about Ballads of Adolescence. I think Cassette Runners is basically that anomaly in the kind of thing that I went with and say, yeah, okay, I fuck with this, but that's just my opinion.
If they want to do more and like develop more, I think there's definitely potential. But if they also are content to just kind of fuck around and do what they want, it's valid. Like there's nothing wrong with just making the music you want to make. Ritzy does something about that.
No. Yeah, our favorite off this is Star. Least favorite, it's probably something like Skeletons and T-shirts or What I Need.
I'd say What I Need.
I'm gonna go close a window so I don't fucking storm myself out of here.
I like What I Need, and I'll get to it someday. I like the kind of more thrashy, moshy, punky kind of stuff they're getting into. I like the first part of... sorry, I'm a little sick. Excuse me.
Yeah, end of the year. It would be as chaotic as we want. Like
the first part of Star I quite like, but the latter part, least favorite Skeleton and T-shirts.
Can we just agree that this is an awesome sound doing this?
That's great.
I know, it's just like, if we ever need to transition to something, we just go... So now what are we talking about? Our albums of the year?
I'll just cue you when Trix comes on.
Yeah, when a conversation gets boring, it's just... And then suddenly we're somewhere else. If only I had this for the full year, we could have had a very efficient podcast.
You just hit the button when you're ready to move on.
Like with the fucking, like, you haven't had too long of a speech in the Oscars or the Emmys and stuff like that. You're thanking your family, awards. You're thanking the video game awards, and they want you to cut you off, but you're still talking and you're still yammering on about the same old bullshit. You're running in circles. You're thanking your family. Oh, okay, so I'll end it now.
Anyway, here's Sting with the next award.
God, you remember? Sorry, I just got distracted by a big fucking bit of lightning. I can't wait for the lightning to come completely take me out of the podcast, and then Trix joins and wonders where I am. My partner just got home, so I hope she didn't have to worry about the lightning too much.
Hopefully not.
She was good. Yeah. All right. Well, this will be a chaotic recording. What do we want to start with? I guess. I mean, there's a lot of wrap-up stuff we can do. I guess. I guess whilst we're padding for a bit of time for Trix, I'm happy to start doing the gig stuff.
Yeah.
I feel a bit mean during the albums, EPs. I mean, I won't be announcing my songs today. For anybody who's listening right now, my shit's going to already all be out there by the time you're listening to this episode.
Oh yeah,
straight up. Yeah, it's like as of recording, I've already released my albums list and EPs list, and as of finished recording, I would have done the free gig wrap up post that I'm doing, which I need to actually finish off the graphics for, and by finish I mean start, which will include the quick little awards ones that I do every year now, so that will actually be done. But since this has been a special year, 152 gigs have been eligible for this year. I've actually gotten a couple of the quick stats if you want to see them, Dominic.
Sure.
This is the kind of full, just like, I haven't gone through everything in the sense of like how many times I've seen venues and stuff like that, but a very quick wrap up of how much I've seen this year. I've seen 495 sets this year with at least one full song, which it sounds insane, but that also includes partial. So
yes.
if I've seen a song, that's it. That would count in towards it. So the actual number that I care about is the amount of full sets that I've seen, and thankfully, because you will see partial throughout the year. That will happen. Sometimes you'll just arrive a little late to openers if you're there, and you miss a couple of their songs, and that counts as a partial. Sometimes you're at festivals and you go in between acts and stuff like that because you want to see part of this and part of the other, and that takes a bit. But despite all that, only 29 of those acts were partial, or 2,900 sets. So 467 full sets were seen this year. This is out of 152 gigs.
That's at least 3 per.
Yeah, at least 3 gig. Which is about right.
Yeah, that's still daunting to think about, though.
Only 10 of those gigs fell under festival headliner rule, so not all of them were actually festivals, but the idea was that none of them were technically a headliner. It was a part of something else, like a laneway festival or Good Things, or like a record label promoting like their finale or something like that. But the Spunk 25 with Middle East, Explosions in the Sky Boss technically being the headliner, I guess, didn't really count as the headliner in that set. Or when I saw the Gate Crash acoustic set the other day, which were the headliner theoretically for that, because of the way that was presented, that wasn't really any headliners in there, so it falls under festival rule.
I see. And
with that as well, only 4 sets that I saw this year were acoustic variants, so it would be where the actors usually got a lot more happening with their act.
Okay.
But this time they've stripped it down to that, and only 4 times were they acoustic versions, which I was actually surprised. I thought I would have seen a bit more. And there might be some that I haven't written down, so that might be a bit done. But here's the absolute big one out of this as well. And this, I think, is personally the most impressive number.
Okay.
374 unique artists were seen in full. And if we include the partial, there's an extra 21, making it 395.
So that's only...
so only 100 off the sets with the partial, basically.
Damn.
So that did mean there were a bunch of artists in the partial that, with 21 there, that I didn't actually get to see a full set of, which is a bit unfortunate. That just happens. A lot of them were at festivals, and some of them were bigger name artists, so I'm not too upset by that. There were some that were a bit more underground that I wish I could have been able to catch a full set, but it just happens. So that's the end of the 152 kind of that, and that's not even me done for the year, but that's all that's going to count towards the gig wrap up, because everything else just happens after I've released all this info.
You are truly a machine.
It was a pretty daunting one. I've had some people ask if I'm going to go for the record, and I can say no.
What's the record now?
It's past. It's the actual number that I care for, which is the unofficial one, which includes every single gig and not having those bullshit restrictions of venue capacity and stuff, is 366.
Oh god. That's insane.
And that's my 152 falls under the unofficial, because I'm sure if it actually got reversed down, something like that, it would actually be like 80 or 70. Because there was a lot of DIY stuff that I saw.
I mean, DIY stuff counts.
It counts, but it doesn't count for the Guinness World Records.
Fuck them.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. That's why I wasn't going for it.
Fucking... Like
I'm not going to make myself go...
records.
Yeah, I'm not going to make myself go to fucking Horden Pavilion 360 times in a year.
Is that all it took?
Nah, it's not what it took for the world record, but yeah, that's an example. Like, when he went for the world record, he was still going to all that DIY stuff and stuff like that. He did it legitimately, and it was just... He actually applied with all 366, and they just, like, wouldn't allow, like, 130. So, that's... For anybody who didn't know that, that's the actual... the math towards the world record. I'm not going for that. Nah, I just not happening. I think actually at the end this is a pretty manageable outcome. Next year I'll probably go to a little less, but I think realistically, and a lot of people, including me at the start, thought it was a bit of a fucking like scary number. But 100 gigs in a year, if you're a regular goer and you go to DIY, is pretty fucking doable.
Do you feel like you got enough sleep?
Yeah. It helps that I live somewhere near the city. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say like there were some people who live in the coast, Wollongong, all that. World Record lives in Wollongong, so fucking.
You also traveled quite a bit, though.
Yeah. That's a big. I've traveled to Canberra. I've traveled to the Gold myself. I've traveled to Melbourne. I've done it to Brisbane. So I've gone around a bit, but that's just how I've done it. But yeah, it's a case of I've done it. I've tried to make it, I've tried to max out a bit, but I've also tried to make it manageable, in which I didn't cause myself too much burnout.
That's good.
But the other, like, the big question that I've gotten asked whilst I've been doing this from, people less experienced than me, people who are more experienced, I can know already, is how I don't get the burnout. And the answer is that the only burnout you get is from travel. The gigs are fine. Because you're singing live music, and I like music.
Yeah,
So,
I've learned with live music that if I don't know the music, there is no chance I'm going to absorb it. Like, I will hear it, it'll play, but if you ask me what it is and I don't know it, I'm not gonna remember.
I agree. I think for a lot of acts that you'll come across, there'll be songs that just go in one ear, you enjoy, but you don't. Yeah, you're right. You don't remember. But I think there's been quite a lot of music that I've discovered this year through seeing them live.
Like, and sometimes
I do remember these. Yeah,
you can remember a vibe. You can remember like a little bit.
Yeah,
but it's not until you listen to it, I think, by yourself and like away from that you like, okay, there's something here. I like this. Beyond just
like going on with that, and this I think this will be kind of like my ending statement before I start going into the awards and the wrap up and like my tops of the year for gigs. And the biggest reason that I hear for people not going to a show, it's not that they don't know the artist, and it's not that they don't know a song. It's that they think they don't know enough songs to enjoy it.
That's not true.
Now, keep in mind, if you don't have the money and you don't have the and you think for a certain artist that it costs too much for how much you know, that's a completely different thing.
Oh, sure.
Like, paying $200 for a festival for knowing only one artist, no one's asking you to do that. But if you got small artists that you know of and you only know a couple songs and it's like $20, and the only reason, like, if you want to go out, but the only reason is that you think you don't know enough songs, if it's cheap enough and you can afford it and you want to go out, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Learn the fucking songs. They will play it live. I'm telling you right now, most musicians do not give a fuck if you are singing along when you are more when you're in those more underground scenes. I've had enough musicians this year, not every fucking musician, but I've had enough openers and stuff come up to me because I've just been at the front and vibing along, and they just say thanks for sticking around for the full set.
That's cute. I love that.
There's some musicians who understand, they aren't that well known, but they just like that people will listen to them.
Yeah.
And I won't be the only people they say that to. They'll say it to other people who did it as well. It's nothing special about me.
And sometimes, it's those things, those opening acts, or those songs that you're not, you kind of know, but maybe you're not as familiar with that end up surprising you. Like I was thinking of when I saw Afraid of Crushes this year, and they did a cover of Natalie Imbruglia's Torn.
Which I just find funny.
Yeah. Like, I know of that song. I've heard it before, but I've never, like, thought about it. And then it's like, oh, okay.
I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel.
And obviously, Afraid of Crushes
one of the most,
You're Always in My
one of the
Cocoon,
most played songs in Australia.
Is it really?
Yes.
Amazing.
It was fucking huge here. It still is. If I felt like embarrassing her, I'd ask her partner to sing it. I'm sure she'd know enough of the lyrics. But I don't feel like embarrassing her, so that's not happening. But, yeah, I mean, there's also a big thing that I've talked with. I said it was going to be my final statement, but I'm a bit of like... I've talked with enough photographers over the years as well. There's a bunch of photographers in the DIY scene. I've made kind of friends with them. Very lovely people. Shout out to Patagraphics, shout out to the Underground Stage. There's a bit of two bigger ones that I've talked with, and they've got their own different knowledge sets and their connections as well. By the way, if you haven't checked out the Underground Stage, Dominic, fully fucking recommend that you do. Not to get some Patagraphics here who I also shouted out, but he's also really talented with his photography. But the Underground Stage is fucking insane. Alex will take like 100 pictures in the first 10 minutes of the set.
Yeah.
And he has it full edited and uploaded on Instagram before the set finishes.
Man, all right.
He's doing it fucking real time, and he said the reason that he does it is because it's the only time he gets to do it.
What is it again?
The Underground Stage. I think randomly when I first followed him, Recon Run Club follows him.
I mean, I'm sure
Which
Mitchell is out there looking at stuff, knowing people.
I know. Well, I doubt they would know him because he's Australian. I don't think he's ever seen him live or anything. But
Maybe they're trying to plot out an Aussie tour.
You would hope so. But you'll see he's followed by a lot of people, especially in the old scene, because he would just it's in the DIY scene because that's what he's doing. He goes to random gigs. He goes to a lot of free gigs or cheap gigs.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck if he cares about the artist or not. He would just take photos, describe it, put up basically a promotional fucking caption on the whole thing, and post it on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of these. They're really nice.
Oh, I think it's great photographer as well, so that also helps. But a big thing as well that he mentioned about is that he's talked with certain artists, and this is the point I'm going to go about. Because one of the big things that you'll see him at is free shows.
Yeah.
Because, he does this on a whim and stuff like that. He's trying to find a DIY area underground, and you got to get that at free shows. And there are certain artists that say that they get paid more at free shows than they do for ticketed.
I believe that.
And so, like, for those who are worrying about ticket price, just catch a free show. Especially in Sydney. There's a bunch of places that will do them. Vic on the Park does it every Friday and Saturday. There's some reasons to not like Maryvale venues, but Vic on the Park is still supporting live music, and you got to take that where it comes. Bootleggers has done it a couple times, or even the 5 bands for $5 that they do there as well is pretty insane. Metro Theatre does some free ones. If you're in Brisbane, Greaser and Felons will do some free gigs. There's quite a lot of places you can go. So that's where I'm going to leave that as. Is just go see a gig. It's easy. Like, I'm not asking anybody to ever see 150. I'm understanding that I have tried to organize and do this a lot, and I'm in a certain position where it's pretty easy to do it.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that many
everyone.
gigs personally. Just stamina wise.
Well, let's not lie and say as well that this hasn't affected recording times. Yeah, there's been a couple times where I've had to delay episodes.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but we've all had to do that here and there.
Oh my shit! This is going on too long. The speech. So with that, we go into the awards.
Awards.
Gigs of the year.
The gigs of the year.
I'm going to put this into 3 sections, and hopefully by the time I'm done, our good old friend Procrastinaut Trix will
World premiere
to help us with the EPs and albums. So I got 3 different sections here. The first one that I'm going to do is the kind of awards night where I have 8 different categories. I've got a winner and a runner-up. I'm going to just talk a bit about the artists in each of them. Then I'm going to do, in part 2, it's going to be my 10 favorite songs that I've seen live this year.
Okay.
And then I was wondering what number I put it to, and I put it to a number that I think, there's been a lot of good gigs, but I haven't gone to enough that I think I could really have a large number of truly great gigs. So, because when I do these lists, I want the numbers to actually mean what's number 1 is better than everything else. Like, the bottom number is still really good. Sure. I don't like adding in something because I can. Really, I feel like it has to be a number that represents how much I've listened to or all that.
Yeah.
So it's the top 25 gigs of the year.
Hell yeah.
I think that's a good number.
It does cut out a lot of the chaff, that's for sure. Yep.
There's 127 gigs that don't make it in there. It also means I'm not bullying any artist that I thought was kind of shit.
Yeah.
Because, if I say I had 100 gigs, and at a certain point, there's artists that could look, and I doubt they are, but I'm putting into an example here. You could say, oh, somehow I wasn't in that 50, I was in the 52 that didn't make it. And then the artist at number 100, he says, was kind of average. Where does that put me,
Right.
So with 127, they're all bundled with the rest. I will give a couple honorable mentions after it's all done, though, just to some artists that I thought were going to be crap, and turned out to be a lot better, or artists that were pretty close.
Okay.
I'm not going to say what number they were. That being said, let's start it off with the industry accepts my fucking gift card award. This is named after the clothing store industry, and the fact that I got a gift card for my birthday a couple of years back. I tried to buy stuff online, and it said the gift card cannot be used online. You have to only go into stores, and all those deals were online only.
That's fucked.
Yep. So this goes to the best merch that I've seen this year. It doesn't have to have been picked up. It just has to be seen. So the runner-up is the Sangiri Sugabog, or however to pronounce that fucking name, t-shirt that I did pick up. It was the Monsters Inc. t-shirt, which I intentionally picked up because I was going to Peach PRC the next day, and I wanted to have the most disgusting shirt. Good timing.
Whoa, that sounded great.
That I possibly could to wear to a pop show from a death metal concert. I'm posting it in the chat for you, Dominic.
Oh,
This
that's
is the
amazing.
Shirt. That's the shirt I bought.
Oh my god. I kind of want it. I kind of just want to look at it on a person.
I have it. It's fantastic. There are some other bad ones that they have. They didn't have it at the gig that I was there, so it can't count. But they do have the "I like to move it" shirt as well, just as a as a bit of reference for you, Dominic.
Oh boy.
And I'm not going to see if I can find it. And the actual winner that I'm giving it to was actually one that I didn't think out of anything this year would be on any list. And I'm just trying to see if I can even find the shirt. So you're gonna have to give me a minute. But
world premiere T-shirt. Thunder.
Well, yeah, I know. Could you believe, Dominic, that out of all bands that I've seen this year, that's gonna get an award this year, Hawthorne Heights is gonna get one.
Corey would be so happy.
And it's for this shirt that they released because this show happened around Australia Day. They actually understood the kind of whole controversies about Australia Day and put up probably one of the cutest shirts that they could put in there that I think was pretty tasteful, understood what their fan base was and everything of it. So it was the day before Australia Day. And it's the Australia is for Lovers shirt, which is two koalas in love. And it uses the Aboriginal flag coloring on it as well.
That's really cute. I really like that.
It was very cute. I think it wasn't tacky. It could have easily been, but I think it was I think the Aboriginal flag coloring in there was pretty subtle, but not too subtle that it felt like it was just tacked on. It was pretty noticeable. I believe the profits for that were donated as well, and it sold out pretty fucking quick. I didn't pick one up, which is the reason why I don't have one is because it sold out.
And it was selling for $55 Australian dollars.
Which actually isn't that bad as well, but the pricing wasn't considered.
That's probably like $40 US dollars, I would imagine.
Yeah. That's my winner for the best merch of this year.
All right.
There's been some cool things that I've seen this year as well, but unfortunately we didn't have the health butt plugs that I was promised, so
Well, obviously would have won.
Yeah, I would have wanted to have it. All right, the Epilepsy Award for the thunder that's going to blind me. This is pretty obviously the best visual awards. And the runner-up, Mogwai. So I want to compare this to Sleep Token. Sleep Token is like the worst visuals I had this year, in which they had a very small lighting display, and they overused it to the point it wasn't syncing up with songs. It was just obnoxious the whole fucking time. It was just a bunch of flashing Caesars in your mouth. It was a true epilepsy. Mogwai had a very similar setup, except the way that the visuals were used in it, it was perfectly synced with the songs. It wasn't blinding. It had all it was using the colors that it had, but it wasn't trying to overuse colors or anything like that for the sake of it. It felt like it was actually matching with the music, and I think it was a true case of minimalism done right.
All right.
I've seen a bunch of shows that don't even have lighting or anything like that, and that's fine. It wasn't going to get eligible for this, but yeah, I think that was a case of good visuals done for a good lighting, and that's why I wanted to give it the runner-up. But the winner, and I think it's a surprise to nobody that this is a show that has really good visuals, was the Underscores gig.
Oh yeah,
that was interesting. She had just the TV on in the background, basically. That during the songs, she had set up all these different kind of visuals to happen for every song. Like for "Spoiled Little Brat," it was basically just this repeat loop of a claw machine and trying to win something from it. But like every song had a different visual going with it. There was one that I can't remember which song it was off the top of my head, but there's a full DDR kind of track happening in the back and it was incredible in there. During certain songs and the interludes, there was like the story playing in the visuals as well. And this is all happening at Machine Hall, which is not a big venue or anything, or
That's really cool.
like a huge music venue. So yeah, that was just funny, and it was great. That's the winner.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
A, do you ever get confused? B, is it a thing where like the bars or wherever themselves play visuals just on their own?
It's not a thing really. Actually, there's a couple music venues that will have a screen behind, and they'll have just like one like just like the band logo or something displayed on it. There are some bars that I've gone to where they had the TV on, and you can see the sport while the game's on. While the gig's on. But not so much in that. There's not really much that's doing their own visuals. Some might have their own signs or something like that promoting the place, but they're not really like TV. So.
I remember the first time I saw Grief Eater, the venue had like a TV going with like, I think it was like a horror movie or something. And like, is this part of the set? Is this just? Then it went through every set. I'm like, no, this is like, it wasn't like just a movie playing. It was like a sequence thing with like split screen and stuff. It was super confusing, super weird. So I don't know if that was just like a thing that occasionally happens, or just they were just being fucking around. But that was some weird shit.
Well, anyway, we're on to the next award, and this is the Dickhead Award. This is named after the first time I gave this award, which was for the JPEG Mafia concert with the dude who jumped from the fucking balcony and fell into the crowd where no one tried to catch him and broke his leg. In which we could all say that was an incredible moment, but the dude was definitely a dickhead.
I mean, yeah, I remember the story.
Since then, the award remains called the Dickhead Award for the most memorable crowd moment. And the runner-up, and keep in mind that despite this being called the Dickhead Award, it doesn't mean that I'm giving it to a dickhead. Especially not in this case, because the runner-up was at the Spunk 25 finale. And this is at the Sydney Opera House. You're going to keep that in mind. We are seeing explosions in the sky. They were a post-rock band. So, it's not too surprised that someone would vibe like this. But at the Opera House, it's a full seated venue. It's got that whole kind of classiness vibe going on. You see a lot of people just kind of sitting there motionless, which isn't bad. I'm no criticisms to that. Except in the front row, to the left of us, was this one biker-looking dude who went full air drums for the whole fucking set. Wasn't bothering anyone, nothing. So, like I said, this is definitely not a dickhead. This was incredible.
Was he accurate?
Oh, he was pretty accurate.
All right.
And just went full on for the full set. And that was a true spirit animal moment. I don't know who that dude was, but I hope he's living his best life.
Then you find out he's just like their engineer or something. Just vibing.
Nah, it was just I don't even know if he was a bikie or not. He kind of looked like one. But he was vibing, and it was awesome. And the winner for this, for the most memorable crowd moment, and this is debatable if it's a dickhead or not, because it's not a single person, it's a bit of everything. It was the Freezer show at a Good Space Gallery, in which I think a bunch of those bands might not be allowed to play there again. And this is a moment of, it's not just the band, it wasn't just the crowd, it was also the band, but the crowd was definitely involved in this, so it gets a note. And during the set, there was a lot of hostility between the crowd and the venue staff. This came from some people who had set off the smoke alarm, so the firemen had to come, and it does cost the venue money, and that's fair to get pissed off about. I'm not trying to condone any of the actions or anything like that. I'm just trying to describe why this is the most memorable. People were hanging from the sprinklers, including Isaac from Hanoi Traffic, while they were singing. Which that was a classic because Isaac was only able to hang for about 5 seconds before falling right on their back.
Yeah, you imagine so.
Yeah, it didn't work out too well, but they're still alive, so that's all that matters. And after this event happened, I think around 5 people got kicked out from the venue, including the person from FBI Radio who had organized the event.
Oh wow!
And for all of this, you could say, like, why am I giving this the win? Well, once a lot of that hostility turned into moments like that dickheadish behavior, I also can't lie and say that hostility didn't put out one of the best moshes of the fucking year. So I can't condone any of this.
But the results were great.
But the outcome was great. I don't. It was a fantastic gig despite all this tension. And for that reason, I have to say that is the crowd moment of the year.
Crowd moment of the year.
And that was a 50-person capacity venue as well. So when one person gets kicked out, that's 2% of the audience. All right, Hipster Status Award, best upcoming band to see live. So these are these will be bands that won't be in the top 25 gigs of the year, but neither of them were headliners anyway. So, and I believe this is an award in which I had to think about, because I don't think this is one that I should say this is my favorite upcoming or anything. I've got an opening act slot that I can put in for that anyway. That's a bit later. This is for a band that I had never heard of before, that I really enjoyed seeing live, and also I think there's a reason to put them into hipster status by seeing them live whilst you can, because I think they have the ability to blow up further. And the opener for that, for the runner-up for that, the opener, Bean Magazine.
Beam Magazine.
Now, big reason. Yes, I saw him at Make Sound, which was that little unofficial event that happened at Big Sound. My friend actually, I think, slid into their DMs talking about a discount grocery store.
Okay.
So that's a thing like that. And I really, really fucked with them. I'd never heard of them before seeing them live. And yeah, it was a great set. It was a great little indie rock set. Not very much more you can say other than that, but I think they did have a good stage presence. I think they were nailing their songs to a point that made them very kind of captivating to listen to. And the big reason why I think they're going to hipster status is, one, they haven't really broken out yet, but they are starting to get that play on Triple J. They are starting to get those support slots for bands like the Rubens and Hockey Dad. So I think it is a bit of a matter of time before they do blow up. So
nice.
I put them in there. I had to point out that for believing that a band can blow up, I do have to think they're somewhat accessible. So they're not going to be my favorite actor or anything out there, but that's just my personal taste. That being said, I do enjoy them if they're in these slots.
You heard here, Ritz does not have an accessible musical taste.
Let's wait till my top 100, baby. The winner of this is Friday. Friday and the Social Network. Saw them a couple times this year. Saw them at Laneway. Saw them open for 1-300. And the first time that I saw them and the first time that I'd ever heard of them was opening for Paris, Texas. And they definitely have a sound which I think is one, unique enough to them. I don't think it's the most unique sound you've ever heard in your life. There are definitely comparisons that you can do. But I think it's them doing their own thing, which is in a way still. But yes, you can compare it to other hip hop acts. You can compare it a bit to like the Block Party or the Kenny Hoopla kind of sounds, which I know have that kind of very similar. Comparing Block Party and Kenny Hoopla is somewhat different, but from what I've heard of Kenny Hoopla, there's that bit of that kind of pop punk hip hop sound that Block Party did have in some of their songs as well.
Mm-hmm.
While still following into that, it's not a full like rap or anything, but it is a kind of a party hip hop thing, and I think that is a scene that is going to blow up. But the other reason why this is the winner is that his set was fucking incredible for an opening act. I remember not hearing it, and I'm a bit of a stand there, cross your arms and just vibe by yourself type of guy, which sure. I think everybody should have the right to do that at concerts. And I think as long as you never hurt anybody, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
But even this one was a bit more of a whole like, I'll fucking shout along because I'm just vibing along with it. It's fantastic.
So it's like party hip hop.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, I think that's the way of saying it.
Compared to Joey Valance and Bray?
Not in that kind of style, no.
Okay.
This opened for 1-300, so I think you could, kind of compare that. That being said, if Friday does open for Joey Valance and Bray, I wouldn't be too. All right, Gawker Stalker Award. You remember the Gawker Stalker, Domino?
I don't know. What's a Gawker Stalker?
Do you remember the website Gawker?
Yes.
Do you remember that at some point they released a thing called the Gawker Stalker, which was people would submit when they've seen a celebrity and the Gawker Stalker would put it publicly on the internet?
I never followed Gawker that much, so I didn't know about that. But thank you for telling me.
That was the thing that happened. Gawker was a shit show. I know I know Hulk Hogan's a bit of a cunt, but aren't we all glad that he took down Gawker?
Sure, why not?
So, naturally, I think this award has to go to the most seen live act. Runner-up is a tie with the winner. So I had to do a tiebreaker.
Okay.
And that tiebreaker is how many times I've seen him as a headliner. So the runner-up is Jet City Sports Club. So I've seen him 6 times this year.
Wow.
But I've only seen him once as a headliner. So you ready for who won it?
Lay it on us.
Garage Sale. Because I saw him 3 times as a headliner.
Garage Sale.
Two bands I've seen 6 times this year. Those are the most. That's
too bad they're not touring together.
No, Garage Sale will tour with Sesame Girl. That could happen.
Well,
Jet
over
City's
here
a bit...
in America, so I could see them both.
But
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know about Jet City, but surely they could do an American tour. 3-star Motel Award for the best live venue I've attended. The runner-up, it's got to be that car park in Parramatta.
Okay.
Perry Loading Dock. It is literally just an outside kind of car park. Well, it's like an inside, sorry, but like it feels like an outside gig basically. And yet, despite the simple setup, despite how DIY it is, it sounds fantastic in there. Both gigs that I've seen there have been fucking fantastic. Very lovely people. I mean, both of these are going to DIY venues. You're not going to see me fucking give the Horden Pavilion or Kudos Bank or fucking ANZ Stadium best live venue of the year. That's just
Sydney Opera House.
That's not going to happen. And the winner for it, up in Brisbane. A little DIY venue that's unfortunately shutting down next year, and I'm going to try and catch again, but I absolutely respected this venue. It sounds incredible. It's small, lovely. I loved how DIY it was. It was a case of, like, you bring your own beer, but I kind of stopped doing that when the cops came.
Damn.
And that's season 3 up in Brisbane. I got to see both Wednesday and Garage Sale there. Both of those were incredible gigs. Unfortunately, Wednesday, the singer from Tired Lion apparently got sexually harassed. I found that out later, so that's kind of a bit of a moment that I didn't realize happened there. That kind of sucks, but
yeah, that really sucks.
Unfortunately, some people are cunts. But that's nothing on the venue, nothing on the gigs themselves. It's just one lone cunt. But yeah, the person who runs it, Nick, who's also in the band Planer, absolutely lovely to talk to as well. It's been pretty vocal on Instagram about trying to keep the place alive and trying to host all this DIY stuff. Yeah, gets my number 1. All right, so we've got 2 awards left. Hard Act to Follow from Grinspoon Award for the best opening act. A rule of thumb for this one: no festival slot will count, so you're not counted as an opener if you're in a festival slot, and you're not counted as an opener if you're billed as a co-headliner.
Okay.
The runner-up was Super Deaf.
Okay.
That from at the Your Arms on My Cocoon show, the Bearded Lady. There's another one of those, like, I'd only just fucking discovered them from. I would have heard a bit of it from the Scrams of Australia album, but I didn't really know too much about Super Deaf or anything. And then some fucking guy in a dog gimp mask comes out and does Cyberground. And I don't know what to think, but after the first song, I was like, oh, fuck it, this just fucks.
Turns out that's all you need.
Vibing. Yeah, and you're just vibing along. Like, there's no way in hell a band like Super Deaf will ever blow up, which is why it doesn't get into that other slot. But, I mean, the absolute just energy from him and the drummer was fucking insane. It still lives in my head, some of those moments from that set. Yeah, the Blind Equation could have potentially been in there as well, but I've considered them as a co-headliner. So I had to ask, what was the best opening act out of all the Your Arms shows that I saw? And it was Super Deaf.
Fair.
Yeah. I mean, there were other bands that were great that night as well, or the other nights. Like Doris was fantastic, and Masaturi was obviously fantastic. Hanoi and Blind Girls were both fantastic. I mean, technically, the Blind Equation was more of a support than Blind Girls on the Brisbane show, but the tour was kind of billed as a Blind Girls.
Hello, Trix.
I've been doing my gigs awards, so I was waiting for you. We've still got a bit to go before we're doing albums and EPs. So say hi to the Uber driver for me.
I'm not in the Uber yet, and I'm gonna be muting for the Uber. But I just figured I'd hop in and say I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that close is gonna take so fucking long.
That's all right. We've been padding out for time, and I've been shit posting with my little instrument I have here.
Well, I'll be home in like 5 minutes, and then I'll give me a second to like set up my bong and my podcast setup.
We'll
I'm
be
still
here.
gonna be rocking the phone up to the head for most of the night.
Well, whilst you're doing thinking about all that, I'm going to go on to the winner of the opening act award.
Okay,
And
that
goes to Planer at that Wednesday show at season 3. I know they win an award for a venue that they hosted as well. So
they know how to fucking rock it. That only makes sense.
But that was the case. Like, if you got to ask me, out of all the opening acts and everything, you know, not even including the Hipster status and all that, which was the opening act that I'd never heard of before or anything like that completely blew me away, and I said, "Holy fuck, that was awesome." It was Planer. It was like there wasn't much communication with the crowd or anything happening like that. They were just playing their songs, but their songs were great. They were fucking passionate. They were kind of just playing like no one was there, so they could just let it all out, and it was awesome. Apparently, the drummers in a band called Craning as well, where they get even more experimental with their noise, which would be cool.
Okay.
This was pretty much just a slowcore band with a bunch of build-ups and stuff like that. It wasn't really experimental, but it was fantastic. I loved just listening to every minute of it. Fun fact: there was a show that they were supposed to open for. Florist was doing a solo show in Australia in Brisbane. She had to cancel them because she fell sick, and Planer was supposed to open, but because that cancelled, Planer ended up moving a show to season 3 and played a free show to launch their single.
Nice.
Short notice. My friend went, and apparently it's a pretty good turnout.
Hell yeah.
So they're getting a bit of notice in Brisbane, but they haven't broken out of there, which is a bit of a shame because they're fucking awesome. And that moves us on to our last award. Now, in previous years, the last award I've given has been Best Gig of the Year. However, that's in a different award category now. So the last one here is rehashing from last year. It's Blacklist Award, which I named after last year's winner, Nerve Damage, when they scaled the building at University of Wollongong during their hardcore set. And it's a moment that I described as, that's pretty easily to get you blacklisted from the University of Wollongong.
Yeah.
So the first moment, the runner-up, is a moment that was probably going to get you fucking blacklisted from the Bearded Lady. King Brothers, this Japanese punk band that we went to on a whim without knowing anything about. There was about 100 fucking moments in their gig in which I could say that is the Blacklist Award winner, or that. In the end, there was another gig which I said, well, yeah, that was actually my favorite moment of the year.
Well, what did they do?
Well, they did a lot of things. They scaled a bunch of the building inside, but you know it's a bit boring to give a repeat winner. They did throw the mic around in the into the crowd and got the crowd to sing just random screams whilst they were rocking. But that's still not really quite the winner. They did start off the show as well by climbing their amps and just jumping off it and rocking, but I think that's more cute than a winning moment. The frontman did start kissing people in the crowd, but I'm not sure if that's a winning moment in the as well. Don't worry, Dominic, it was all guys.
Good.
The actual winning moment of that gig for the runner-up slot was when they moved their whole set into the middle of the crowd and then finished like the 3 or 4 remaining songs there.
Okay.
That wasn't just a guitar was moved into the crowd and stuff. That was fucking everything was moved into the crowd. The stage was empty. They fucking guerrilla styled the rest of the gig.
That's kind of sick, though.
It was incredibly sick. And that's my runner-up of the year.
That would definitely be a highlight.
So what was my favorite? Well, admittedly, it's something a little less impressive, but when you were there, you realize just how fucking funny this was. And it goes back to the t-shirt runner-up, Sanguru Sugabog, or however the fuck you pronounce it, at the Bright Side, where they grabbed a football, they yelled out to the crowd, whoever has this football at the end of the song gets any item from the merch stand for free. We saw 2 people leave in an ambulance that night.
Jesus.
I think I can tell you just how fucking hard people went for Kill the Deal with the Pill.
I mean, maybe they wanted the ambulance for something else. Are you sure it was for the football?
Oh, there was a couple things, actually. I think one person went in there because they got decked because they tried to sexually harass someone.
Okay, that's valid. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just like when I heard like someone got decked, it's like, oh no, it's like, oh, I think it's sexually harassed. It's like, oh, okay, fair enough. Remember, if somebody sexually harasses somebody at a show, you can deck them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Should.
it's valid. Like, yeah, maybe you have some legal problems whatsoever, but
It's defense.
you're a folk hero. Well,
You
I
haven't
also
been
remember that
sexually assaulted. That's fucked
yeah,
up.
if you sexually harass or sexually assault anybody at a show, you're a cunt.
You should either be blacklisted from ever
Yeah.
going to a show ever again, anywhere.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my favorite moment from a performer, but I just threw a ball in there. And after it was done, you better believe they gave the winner a free shirt.
Hell yeah. Then there's like, oh, the shirts are sold out. Well, I'm gonna fucking get a shirt.
I bought my shirt. Alright. The top 10 songs of the year that I saw live. And I'm gonna just try and explain a bunch of this. But yeah. I know for like this whole episode's become like a gig wrap up, and it's going to be one of our longer episodes, but that's just how it is.
It's just how it's going.
It's a wrap up. Number 10. Mogwai at the Enmore Theater, Mogwai Fear Satan. Why is this number 10? Because during the drops I could feel it in my chest. I don't need to say more. 9. Wednesday, The Bull Believer at the Factory Theater, not the season 3 show, even though I thought that one's better compared to some of the stuff that I talked about. At the Factory Theater, it just went harder. I remember people just I remember the person next to me just saying, "Hey, could you mind my shit?" Drops it down next to me and just runs into the mosh. And it was funny.
I can imagine. Holy shit.
Yeah. 8. On a completely different vibe, and something I didn't expect that I'd put in this. Claire Bowditch, Divorcee by 23, live at Mary's Underground. This is a very old song. This is like 20 years old. And more of like a folk indie pop song from back in the old Triple J days. And it was just so cute. The way it was done, she performed it perfectly, like note by note. Had the whole crowd doing like these little choruses for her because it was such a very minimalistic show that she put on. It was just a very adorable performance. All right, now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Number 7, Military Gun, Do It Faster, ×3 at the Lansdowne Hotel. That's right, they played the song 3 times in a row.
They do it faster each
and when
time.
They said, we got a new song. They said, all right, here's Do It Faster. And then the second time they said, all right, we're going to end this with a new song. It's called Do It Faster. And then they played it again. And then the third time, the fucking drummer from Egoism, like, can I play? And he went onto the drum set and did it, and they swapped around. So a random person and they did it a third time.
Hell yeah.
All whilst the mosh was going off for each one of them. I've talked with a bunch of people as well who say that's probably their favorite moment from any gig. It went fucking hard. Just keep in mind, Do It Fast is like a 2-minute song.
Sure.
6. Mausatui, Into the Morgue, live at Northcote Uniting Church. This was a part of them doing their full album, and this is, part of me wanted to give it to I Ride the Bus, so do you, because it's been my favorite of that album for a while, but I had to go to what was really the most just impressive that they kind of just did, and it's the fact that they kind of just, I think it's their first time ever playing it live, replicated that closer for it note by note, had the full band coming in, and it was really impressive and capped off what was a pretty impressive and emotional concert to go to.
And how many people were on the stage for that time?
9.
Okay. 9's not bad.
Number 5, Doris, I Want to Grow, live at the Chippo Hotel, opening for Your Arms Are My Cocoon. Which means that this is the first opener on the list. Ooh. This was the first time that they had ever played I Want to Grow live, and I think it's probably the hardest they've ever played it. Zeke just throwing the mic away and fucking stage diving during the breakdown really fucking went free in my head. The fact that we just had all these members from all the local scrams bands come in and join in on it as well. It was it was kind of just a fucking great moment, I guess. Number 4, Black Country New Road, Turbines Pigs, live at the Tivoli.
A classic.
Yeah, I think I don't need to explain that one to you, Dominic, do I?
No.
No. If you've listened to Live at Bush Hole, it's the best song off Live at Bush Hole. And there's a reason. apparently at the Opera House show, they had a standing ovation after it for like 10 minutes. I don't know if it was that long, but apparently it felt like that. But that's just kind of how it's kind of how it felt. And for a bit, I thought this would be my number one live song of the year, but everything else was after it. Number 3, Carb on Carb, Take Your Place in the World, live at Perry Loading Dock. This is a New Zealand emo band that was doing their final ever tour, and this was their final ever Australian show. I didn't really know much of their music, but I knew enough going into it that I wanted to catch it before never being able to see him again. And I actually called him 2 days beforehand because I didn't think I'd even make this show. But baseball got rained out. I managed to make it, and I didn't quite realize how much people loved this song until they played it at the show. Because the whole idea that they had for their set was they were only playing 10 songs plus I think they might have done like one encore or something. And the whole idea was that people voted in the set list. So they had like a list of like 18 songs, and the 10 most voted songs would be the set list.
Sure.
And when this song came, there was like this whole community of people who I don't imagine all of them have been around the decade I was there around. And it was
You're becoming robotic.
Robot Ritz.
That is due to ping. You downloading anything?
Having thing issues do.
Oh my god. Are we back?
Yes.
Sounds like
Alright,
it.
we're back. Yeah.
We're so
Alright,
back.
so there was a community there who had been around there for the 10 years that Carb had been around, and they were screaming their fucking guts out. This is a song that for a lot of people in that crowd had meant lots of them for the last 10 years, and you could just feel it for being in that crowd. Number 2, Jeff Rosenstock. What song do you think it is, Dominic?
The World Doesn't Know You.
Trix, what Jeff Rosenstock song do you think it is?
Gun to my head, I couldn't name a Jeff Rosenstock song right now.
Well, the answer is you need to. Because it was...
Robotic. Did Ritz die?
I think Ritz died.
Damn it. Alright. Well, let's let it play and see what happens.
While we wait for Ritz, I'll talk about my best song from a show, because I only saw one show this year, and that was Petite League.
The one where you almost threw up.
Yeah, almost threw up on the band. I had a stomach bug, and I still saw him. And the best song was Bad for Fun, because I never thought they'd play that live.
Yeah, that's one of their best songs. It's a shame it's a B-side.
Yeah.
What do you remember about it?
Sorry, taking a bong rip. I remember that it was their encore song, and like I was in the bathroom trying not to throw up, and then I heard over the mic, "Now Bad for Fun," and I'm like, "Oh fuck yeah!" And there was a dude in the shitter. So, oh, am I alone now?
You're doing good.
Nope.
You're fine.
Okay, it's just Ritz. Gotcha. But yeah, Bad for Fun was cool.
Here, Ritz is back.
Alright, we back?
Hi, Manny.
Manny's also here.
Are we back?
Yes.
I need confirmation. Thank
Yes.
you. Where did it die at? Where did it die out?
You were gonna say something like neither when you asked us both what song it was.
Alright. It was the Pedestrian at Best cover.
Oh, okay.
I lost my fucking voice to it. It went fucking hard, and keep in mind, this was after like 38 other songs had been played. Alright, number one for the best songs. Your Arms Are My Cocoon, Metamorphosis.
Yes.
Live at the Bearded Lady.
Oh yeah.
If you want to know what a bunch of terminally online people sound like screaming along to their favorite song, yeah.
I mean,
We have also experienced that, but in a different context.
Sure. I will say, seeing Your Arms Are My Cocoon live was definitely one of the best sets I saw this year. So I completely relate.
Come to Ithaca.
Since we've gone through a lot of time, I'm only going to really talk about the top 5 of my gigs of the year, but I am going to go race through the rest of it. So, we have a top 25 gigs of the year. Number 25, McCloskey at Oxford Art Factory, 6th of Jan. 24, Yard Act at Factory Theatre, 12th of November. 23, La Dispute at the UNSW Roundhouse during the Rooms in the House in Full, 22nd of November. 22, Moving Different Festival at Factory Theatre, 1st of December. 21, Dust at Mary's Underground, 15th of October. 20. New Bloom Festival with Citizen headlining at UNSW Roundhouse, 16th of March. 19. Carbon Carb at Parry Loading Dock, 30th of November. 18. Garage Sale at Season 3, 1st of September. This is my 100th gig. 17. Shady Nasty at the Lord Gladstone, 28th of July. 16. Freezer at Good Space Gallery, 15th of June. 15. Mogwai at Enmore Theatre, 27th of Feb. 14. Blind Girls at Sideway in Canberra, 8th of March. 13. The Heartaches at Marrickville Bowling Club, 19th of Jan. 12. Darts at Chicken of Rock, which is a fried chicken shop, 3rd of September.
Hell yeah.
11. Wednesday at Season 3, 3rd of March. 10. Military Gun at the Lansdowne Hotel, 9th of July. 9. Bar Italia at Oxford Art Factory, 4th of June. 8. Spunk 25 finale featuring Aldous Harding, Middle East and Explosions in the Sky at Sydney Opera House, 25th of May. 7. Private Function at Vicuna Park, 1st of January. That was the first gig of the year. 6. Your Arms Are My Cocoon at the Chipper Hotel, 26th of April. 5. King Brothers at the Bearded Lady. I've explained a bunch of the moments that happened during that setup. It was a fucking insane show. I can't really describe without going more in circles than that one. Number 4, I've kind of picked this for personal reasons, but you do that when you do your favorite stuff of the year. It is at some point personal. Luca Brasi at the Beso in Canberra, 15th of May. This is the one where, after my friend passed, I went straight down to Canberra on a bus and saw a gig because I needed to scream. And my god, did I feel so fucking cathartic. It was a very personal gig to go for, and it was the right fucking decision. And somehow 3 gigs beat that. Number 3, Mel Saturi at Northcote Uniting Church, 13th of December, 4 days before we recorded this. That was them doing the full of Out of the Hospital and Into the Morgue. It was a fucking incredible set. The way that they had just rented instruments that they would only use for specific parts of songs and then just never use again.
Hell yeah.
Just to replicate the fucking album in full to near perfection. I've done a bit of a write-up on it on my Instagram as well. It's only a small one, but it was a pretty, this is an album that kind of matters to our lore as well, I would say.
Yeah.
So it was very impressive getting to see this. Number 2, Jeff Rosenstock at the Croxton. He played a nearly 40-song set and it never lost energy. Fucking hell. It was just 2.5 hours, basically, of just intensity.
You can
and
bring
vibing
it to him,
and
sure.
screaming. Yeah. And number 1, Your Arms Are My Cocoon at the Bearded Lady. That was straight up after a full grind that I had done. I got a flight straight to fucking Brisbane. I'd gone down to the Gold Coast for a bit, and then back up, and I was in very little sleep going into this gig, but I was grinding and holding out, and I didn't feel tired for a single moment of this gig because I was just happy to be there.
Hell yeah.
It was, yeah. That's the gig wrap up.
152 gigs.
152 gigs.
One more than the original Pokemon.
Keep in mind, I think we've been talking about this gig wrap up, and that's me then talking about it for about an hour.
Yes.
So I think there's only one thing to do, Dominic.
Hit it. No.
EPs of the year.
EPs of the year.
Trix, you got any of these lists ready? I know you've been a bit busy.
No, and I'll just kind of think on the fly right now.
Sure. Oh, what'd you think of Raccoon Love?
Yeah, that's right.
Let's throw Raccoon Love into one of my EPs of the year.
Sure.
Why not?
I actually really love this EP. This was a lot of fun.
It seems like a very you EP.
Yeah, it is a very me EP.
Trix, music.
Sorry, I'm eating on me right now, guys.
Right,
you weren't even there for when me and Dominic recorded that 10-minute EP of shitposting.
So we got Raccoon Love's in your list.
Yeah.
You want to rank them, or you want to just say a bunch of EPs you love? You can do either. We don't care. It's a wrap up.
I can't really think of EPs right now, I'll be honest.
Dominic, if you've got a list, can I ask you to start off because I need water?
Sure, I'm gonna post my list into the rankings channel. I went on what was it, Topster or whatever that site is. Made a little graphic. Here we go. I only had 6 on the list this time.
Wow, that's a bit shorter than expected, but
I feel like
can't lie, it's a good list.
there's only one cut that was major, really, for me, which was the Jet City Sports Club. So that's an honorary 7th.
That's fair.
But number 6, Postcard Nowhere and Janitor. There was a light in the tunnel and I thought I lost it. Garage Sales Stars Fall 2 is number 5.
Yeah.
Number 4, kind of cheating, kind of not. Your Arms and My
I
Cocoons,
guess.
Colorful Failures, the B-Sides compilation that I got at the tour. Number 3, Ben Quad's Ephemera. Number 2, Bosses, Many Worlds. And number 1, Afraid of Crushes, the self-titled EP.
Alright, so I had a top 10 for EPs as well, and mine's completely different and very, very Australian.
Hey, that's how it goes.
Yeah, to the point in which I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 out of 10 being Australian. Number 10, Celia Hart's pop music EP. Number 9, Secret World, Guilt is Good. 8, Bosses, Many Worlds.
Hell yeah.
7, I'm surprised this wasn't cut as well. I guess he did like the Jet City more. Sesame Girl, self-titled. 6, Jet City Sports Club, Every Single Dream.
Yep.
And now this is where we completely deviate, and where mine has been completely dominated by not only a scene, but by a label.
Okay.
5, Double O Nothing, Infinity. 4, Sunrun, Crossing.
Okay.
And now here's where the label dominates it. And this one is a bit of a surprise pick that I put in because we weren't so hot when it came out. But I have gone back to it a lot. And I know we kind of liked the first EP more, and I still do like it more. But I've come to accept that this was a natural evolution, and it is actually a fucking heavy EP. Annoy traffic towards an end.
Okay.
Number 2, Garage Sales Stars Fall 2.
Our only
For
connection.
a while that was going to be my number 1. But there was one which you're going to disagree with, and I don't give a fuck. Number 1 is Swap Meets, Oxalis.
Hey, it's your list. That's why
I've
there's
just gone
dissonance
back.
in these waves.
I've gone back to the songs in that constantly. I think it's a fantastic EP.
We are just very different this year.
Dissonant, one may say.
It's half my picks, half your picks on my EP list, which is rare. Usually I'm dominated by your music selections because you have good taste. Trix, you got anything else you can think of?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw out the 2 Sex Max EPs that came out this year. Goes to Hell and Cold Not Cute.
Okay.
The only 2 I can think of. I'm like looking through my listens of this year. I'm like dominated by older stuff right now. So
Sure. Okay. What else do you want to cover, Ritz?
Well, the last thing that I can do, because I haven't finalized my songs for the years, and I mean after this, what will happen is I'm going to get Dominic and Trix to record a bunch of promos anyway. Is album of the year.
All right. I'll pull up my graphic. Second.
How many did you have this year?
25.
Yep, same with me. I extended it by 5 this year. I felt there was just a couple that I had to add in, and looking at it, we've got a pretty interesting list here, and there is some crossover. And I'm going to say, Dominic, right now, before I let you go into this, you have got some fucking based takes.
it's mostly your picks.
I know, but there is some interesting takes I didn't expect to be done.
All right. I'll do the 25 countdown. 25 Green
You
Day.
have top 24 that's based.
Yeah, Green Day's Saviors. They're the best they've been in probably 10 years. There's some really good songs on here, actually. I think the Pinhead Gunpowder album is better, but it deserves it. 24, Speed's Only One Mode. 23, Magdalena Bay's Imaginal Disc. 22, Yard Act, Where's My Utopia. 21, Uranium Club, Infants Under the Bulb. 20, The Weekend Run Club, Liminal Space Race. Feel weird kind of delving too much into them since I did direct a music video, but this is where they place.
Yeah.
19, Freight's Self-Titled. 18, Pinhead Gunpowder's Unt. 17, Captain Jazz's Self-Titled. 16, Ammo and the Sniffers, Cartoon Darkness. 15, Sliff's Ilion. 14, Mount Eerie, Night Palace. 13, I am the Intimidator,
All right,
self-titled.
so I'm gonna stop you here as well for the next pick that you got in here.
Yes.
This is one that I didn't expect, but this is an incredibly fucking based take. And then you got one after that as well, which is somehow even more based, because I didn't expect you to come around that, enough for it to be that high.
12 is one I had to submit to Topster myself. It is the December 15 Lord Gladstone compilation from Freezer, Doris, and Pictures with Yuki, which after listening to the Doris album, I just think is better. Then number 11, Rave Tape self-titled LP.
Based.
10, Death of a Rabbit, Your Arms Are My Cocoon. 9, Scattersun, Fax Gang and Paranol. 8, Origami Angel, Feeling Not Found. 7, Postcard Nowhere, Ephemera. 6, Rainbow Kitten Surprise, Love Hate Music Box. 5, Dr. Dog self-titled. 4, Brat, and it's completely different, but also still Brat.
I'm now also going to stop you here as well. I'm just saying, when Dominic says that I control his music taste or I dominate his list with my picks, this is what he means. All right.
3, Joey Valance and Bray's No Hands. 2, Donnie Benet's Infinite Desires. Which, if you think about it, could have taken it this year.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the number 1. Tism, Death to Art.
That's a brave and base take.
Yeah.
I mean...
Alright. Tism finally. Remember the first year we did Tism? The first time we did it.
I mean, there was the 1 year that I considered the No Penis No God album the best thing we listened to that year in total.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would stick to that now, but this certainly, I think this also, stands to like the weird year it was.
I was talking about the album with my dad as well, and I said it's an album that if you're expecting Tism instrumentation and into it to completely overtake it and that be the reason you love it, you're gonna be disappointed. But I think topically it's a complete great reason for them to be around again. They haven't skipped a beat with their satire.
Oh, absolutely.
Or their political nature.
And that's the thing that's important, is that they're 40 years old basically, and as a band, and they're still doing it, and they're still relevant. That's hard.
So we've got a couple crossovers and a couple ones that I'm surprised didn't end up getting in your list. Number 25, Postcard Nowhere, Ephemera. 24, the only one on here that I didn't cover, Waxahachie, Tiger's Blood. 23, I'm surprised this wasn't on your list, to be honest. Super Deaf, Bare Your Teeth.
Fair.
22, Party Dozen, Crime in Australia. 21, Mannequin Pussy, I Got Heaven. And now, I didn't like this one as much as Dominic, but it's still a fantastic album. 20, Donny Benet, Infinite Desires. 19, our first December 1st album, Full of Hell and Nothings, When No Birds Sing. 18, Magdalena Bay, Imaginal Disc. 17, Armlock, Seashell Angel, Lucky Charm. 16, Hey I Love You, Hey I Loathe You. 15, Hockey Dad, Rebuild and Repeat. 14, Uranium Club, Infants Under the Bulb. 13, Stomach Book, Sophomore Slump, Call It Hump. 12, and yes, that's right, Dominic placed it higher than I did in the end. 12 is Rave Tapes, self-titled. 11, Freight, self-titled.
You rated that one high.
10, Amel and the Sniffers, Cartoon Darkness. 9, Captain Jazz, self-titled. 8, no surprise that Dominic didn't have this one on there, MJ Lunderman, Manning Fireworks. 7, Doris, Four Trees. 6, Jory Valance and Bray, No Hands. 5, Tism, Death to Art. 4, Yard Act, Where's My Utopia. 3, Mount Erie, Night Palace. And this was a huge debate for me. It was the top 2. And in the end, I gave number 1 to the album that I thought had the most moments of it. To a point in which I go, what is in full, an album start to finish more ahead?
Mm-hmm.
So number 2 went to the Goalie's Anxiety at the penalty kick, the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Wow.
The Goalie's Anxiety at the penalty kick.
Wow.
And number 1 went to Your Arms Are My Cocoon, Death of a Rabbit.
Okay.
All right.
That's right. The Goalie's Anxiety could have won for me.
That is such an interesting distinctness between us, in that I like that one song a lot. You like the whole album quite a bit.
Yeah.
I've listened to it constantly throughout this year, but so have I with Death of a Rabbit.
Well, I can do songs.
I can't. But
Trix, do you have any albums?
any albums you'd like to shout out?
I'm trying to think of a fifth one real quick. I'm just gonna give like a top like 5 that like I've been putting on rotation in the kitchen.
All right, drum roll, please.
They're not really in any
Okay.
particular order, but
I even do a drum roll on this
by
thing.
Boy Scott is one of the 5. Dr. Dog, self-titled. I Am the Intimidator. What were the other 2? It's 5 in the morning here, so I just did like a 13-hour kitchen shift. So
That's all right, Trix.
yeah.
Do you mind if I tried the drum roll? Or no, you got your idea. You got your idea.
I got it. I got it right now. Fucking No Hands is up there.
Hell
Fair
yeah.
enough.
Like I have been bumping that an unhealthy amount.
Bumping that.
Bumping that.
I'm starting to like 365 now.
Let's come back around, baby.
It has.
Number 1 is Brad.
And I'm gonna throw out a weird oddball. But that is Chinese Fountain Live by Brooks Nielsen.
Okay. One we did not cover.
I heard it on the podcast because I didn't have the opportunity to, and I wanted to present it at the same time as Chinese Fountain.
Gotcha.
But that's one of the more interesting Growlers album, and then I could listen to it with, I think, the best possible way with avoiding the allegations. I kind of put it on repeat.
I wonder if I can do a drum roll. Not really, hold on.
I already said all 5 too.
I don't know, but I'm just trying to see if I can do it with this thing.
Fair enough.
No, not really.
All right. So I'll do songs.
Songs of the year. Yeah, you're the only one doing the songs unless Trix has got any.
I have no songs of the year.
I do have my top 200, but it's classified to everyone, but also not complete yet. So
I don't really keep too much track.
I got 25 songs, and they were selected based on how much I remember them, if I was thinking about them throughout the year, how much I vibed with them, all those kinds of things. And also if they were kind of fun.
yeah,
So,
fair enough.
25. Emma and the Sniffers, Me and the Girls. Very fun song.
Good choice.
24. Super Death, Out by 6, Dead by 9.
You've posted 2 of that one.
Oops.
So I think we know what 23 is.
23. Sympathy is a Knife, Charlie XCX. 22. Forever's a Cool World by Captain Jazz.
Fuck yeah. Forever.
21. Runner Duck.
That's a bass take.
I think about that fucking intro all the fucking time.
All the breakdowns and all that. It's a 10 minutes. It's like in 11 minutes of just a lot of moments.
Every album we listen to since then has a long song I think of as their Runner Duck. So 20. Pinhead Gunpowder's Unt, which is then topped by Green Day's Bobby Socks, which, role reversal. The Green Day song is better than the Pinhead Gunpowder song, but the Pinhead Gunpowder album is better overall. Then we got Garage Sale, Sinking Your Ship, Glass Beach, Motions.
I'm actually kind of shocked at that one.
The only song I come back to from that album. The only one that gave me the emotional release I was looking for, god damn it.
Well, let's also keep in mind, I didn't put Glass Beach in my top 25. And I was a lot more responsive to the album when it came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is 16. Selling Drugs, Corner King Street and Flinders Lane by Tism.
Oh, that's just Dominic's Saturday afternoon.
15, this is exclusively for the end part of it. There's a couple on this list like that, but this is the most because of it. You'll get Nothing and Like It by Ben Quad.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is 14. Cinderella, Rainbow Kitten Surprise. 13. Postcard Nowhere, Pocket of Light, Part 1. 12. Rave Tapes, Enemies plus Jealousy, Enemies and Jealousy, who knows?
Ravey Tapies.
Then, our other Charlie XCX song, Talk Talk, featuring Troye Sivan.
And that's number 11, isn't it?
Yes, that fucking Troye Sivan part is on my mind all the time.
So, Dominic, top 10 songs of the year. Let's go.
Top 10 songs of the year. Number 10. Postcard Nowhere and Janitor, Nothing Out of Me. Number 9. I Am the Intimidator, Gasoline.
Better pump the gasoline.
Motherfucker! Number 8. Good luck, babe. Had to.
That's you.
Yeah, that tracks.
7. Fat Dog by Dr. Dog. 6. Who is the baddest bitch in this club? I'm the baddest bitch in this club.
Is that the featured version? Or
No, the original.
Original version.
Number 5. Our only appearance on this year's list. Feeling Not Found by Origami Angel.
Wow, it's usually something that would dominate your list. It's anytime Origami Angel releases something.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Blanket by Freight. Another one with a excellent closing part.
The fucking I'm sorry parts actually hit so fucking hard.
Now,
I'm sorry. Sorry, I just had to fucking.
this would be number 1 if I liked the whole entire song. But this has the same hypnotic feel on me that Microphones in 2020 has. It is Mr. Settled Score, the goalie's anxiety at the penalty kicks, the only song appearance on this list.
And what a take.
Number 2. Afraid of Crushes, Canada Geese.
Aww.
Now, who's gonna guess what number 1 is?
Well, it could be a lot of things. There are a bunch of things that haven't been on your list that have been on others, and I'm just doing a bit of a wrap up and stuff before we get your announcement. Now, I have a feeling I know what it is. I'm going to go say it last, just because of what's not on here. But there's actually a surprising lack of some of the albums on this list. There isn't Mount Erie on here. There isn't Speed on here. There isn't Yard Act or Uranium Club. You've had a lot of songs that you've liked this year that you've talked about as well. And I mean, you also directed a song that came out this year.
I did not include that one intentionally, so.
Yeah, I know. I figured.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I feel like if it's anything other than American Dream, I'm been misled.
Here it is. It's American Dream by Donnie Benet. You got it.
Yeah, I just like, what hasn't popped up yet? Like, there's no way it's anything but that. Because you fucking love that song when we covered the album.
I think about that song so much, especially with how things turned out.
Yep. That's a fair take, and I think to wrap this up,
I was wondering real quick. I just want him to do a cover where he just says it's Jover instead.
I think we should wrap this up with the one last time with this. Dominic, what do you think?
Let's do it. And that has been a
so
year.
That's been Dissonant Waves of 2024.
Yes.
Yeah.
For those who haven't seen my lists of the songs, it will be up by the time that this episode is out. You can catch it on my Instagram. I'll probably have released everything on the Twitter as well by that time. I got a bunch of wrap-ups to still kind of write up and do over the next 24 hours and, make the graphics for. These two have been given a spoiler towards the gig wrap-up, which took up most of this episode, not going to lie, but I also think that was the kind of main challenge that was done this year.
It was your personal challenge, and, main challenge... We
What's
also had the
100?
Radiohead and Muse thing. That was also a big challenge we had.
Well, shit, we've... Let's talk about it.
Remember that Radiohead and Muse thing we did for 2 years?
Yeah, holy shit, it's over.
Yeah, it got done. I mean, that was hell. That was fucking hell.
Finished in was hell to listen to.
Yeah, our last little post, our coda thing is somehow so unintelligible. It's almost amazing.
Yeah, you just get some real nuggets of wisdom from me.
And I'm so fucking in and out because of my mic that it's abstract, it's obscure, it's just we're getting drunk.
We're drunk. We talk about sandwiches and about the time I shit my pants.
Yep. And then we talk about, is it shitting your pants if you don't actually shit in your pants directly?
I think it is.
Fuck, that's a good question.
Because, if you're shitting and, there's still, diarrhea on your ass and, you pull up your pants, and like there's shit in your pants, I feel like that counts.
And look, I think we all got to say that there has been one moment that happened this year that has been more important than anything else, and that's that I finally got to meet the lads, and we will look back at you and love you forever in person.
Yes.
Hell yes.
Yeah, finally happened. You know what it's fucking like meeting them.
What?
We ended up getting dinner afterwards because I wanted to eat, and then we went to this fucking fish and chip shop. And Jude's partner said that they grew up with family around there or something like that, so they knew the best fish and chips. And I don't think it was the best. I think it was just open till fucking midnight or something like that. Got a burger and then walked from Northkit to Coburg, which takes an hour and a half to do. And the whole time, I kid you not, both Jude and Shelter were just singing "I'm on that good Homer margin bot," just randomly. It was shit posting,
Amazing.
like just straight up for an hour and a half.
That is incredible.
That it sounds.
That's what they're like IRL. For anyone who ever curious,
I wish to achieve that level of shit posting energy again, but I think I've grown too old and jaded.
That was your major achievement. I got to direct a music video, co-direct the music video. We've had Corey as our mainstay returning guest who co-directed it with me.
Yeah, we should have invited Corey over for the Christmas episode. That's kind of rude for us not to do.
Yeah, we could.
That was my plan for a 200 episode.
Okay.
But, Trix, how many hot dogs did you fall short?
Oh, probably like 300.
The important thing is just that you had a drink.
I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna scale it back. Something that I know is possible because I think I've done it in the past couple months, and that is 52 burritos in a year.
Okay.
This is not a healthy goal.
Well, I can make it healthy. I have white rice and chicken and like lime.
This is
cilantro.
what the fucking Trump presidency's gonna just do. You're just gonna get comfort food once a week and call it a challenge.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I eat for free pretty much, and it's like I can just make a good burrito at the end of the night with like just some light chicken, rice, maybe a little.
Maybe you can go 300 fucking burritos then.
No, I don't think I could do 300 burritos. I do get tired of burritos a little bit, and I need to mix it up and get like a grilled cheese or something.
It'd be 300 tacos.
I could do 300 tacos. That's like a taco.
Yes, this should be adequate sustenance for the Doctor Who marathon.
Well, like no, I literally work at a taco restaurant.
I know.
Oh no, I was just referencing Simpsons.
Fair enough, but I could eat I eat like 2 tacos a shift anyways, just because like I accidentally threw down some extra shit.
Yeah, the thing that I didn't really mention with the gig wrap up there that I'd like to mention is that, whilst there has been a bunch of musicians, and you just talk to and you never meet again and stuff like that because you just say hi and stuff. There have been some generally over the year which I have had some conversations with multiple times and gotten to know a little bit. Some of them which I'd met online beforehand and stuff, and finally got to see live. I think that's been a cool thing. Not all that has just been for the sake of networking. It's cool to know people who have a interest in something that I like to criticize.
I mean, this year was the year that we got like I guess you'd call it like a thank you letter from Dan Macy for covering them at all.
Yeah,
which Dan's probably listening. So hi, Dan.
Yeah, because we shouted him out last time.
Shout him out every time.
Yeah, we do.
This is just mutual obsession.
Sorry, I missed your interview.
Speaking of mutual obsession, all right, she's gone. Anyway.
But no, like I was given a chance to grab the last vinyl copy of Duality of Doomsday.
What was that for?
I said obsessing because you were there and you looked beautiful and then you left out of the room. What else am I supposed to obsess about? I'm still recording. She didn't do anything. Sorry, Dominic, you don't care. You're too gay for this.
Oh, I got to meet James from Blind Equation. Honestly, if we're talking about...
Oh, yeah, he's lovely. So fucking lovely.
Like, if we're talking about albums overall, like, above everything I just listed, the Chapel Roan and Blind Equations albums would have been my top 2 of the year, but they're 2023 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's the weirdness there.
We didn't really do that much classics. Like, we did a bunch of older albums, but we didn't do that much classics. I mean, outside of, I guess, some of the Radiohead views.
We did the one Parents' Choice episode.
Yeah.
And I think we got some fun out of that, but there's only so much you can do with the classics.
So, for those who are wondering what our favorite album that we have covered this whole year is, including all the non-2024 stuff, I think I can safely speak for all of us. It was Will of the People.
No. Will of the People is my
That's
seventh, eighth worst that we listened to this year.
What was worse?
Both LMFAO albums.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Oh,
Yeah, that's fair.
no, is that true? Is that true?
Base Communion was worse.
Which one?
Base Communion.
Oh, come on. I like Static.
I am interested in Static. I don't think Cenotaph was it.
I just love us going, we're interested in Static. It's like, yeah, we listened to Claustrophobia.
I also got to throw in Ziegenbach Kopf.
That's fair.
But yeah, there's stuff on there that's worse. But one of the people.
What's the lowest ranked album you have from this year that I picked?
Overall?
Yeah.
I don't have that data for you.
Damn straight, baby.
Do it for me.
One that you picked was Cenotaph at number 2.
Yeah. What's number 1? I want to know what beat it.
Party Rock.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Everything else is something I picked or Trix picked. Mostly me.
Well,
which is usually how it goes. You pick the really good stuff, and I pick the stuff that keeps us balanced.
Been recording for 2 hours, Dominic. I think it's time we wrap this up.
Lastly, I just want to say thank you for letting us listen to the full version of the recordings in the Middle East.
Yes.
Yep. That's fair.
That's my true favorite of the year, overall, with everything.
I would also agree with that.
And with that...
Middle East is based.
Yes.
There is, before we finally wrap up, I would like to suggest our project for the break.
Well, Trix, we do have one project we need to get to at some point over the break.
I think it's what we're thinking. I'm thinking we're thinking the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Tony Hawk's soundtrack playlist?
No, I was thinking our book club.
Yes, that is right. We have to do that too.
Shit, I was thinking a random EP to add on for no reason.
But we've been talking about it for a few years now. Dominic, you started doing it. I think we should genuinely try and build a Tony Hawk playlist over the break.
Okay.
But you know what would be great? We need someone to judge who has the best soundtrack.
Yes.
And I'm not going to say names because I don't want to. I don't want to get anybody who's listening to be pretty happy. But I think I know who to call.
Okay.
There could be many people to call. Who is the most Tony Hawk person?
I'm thinking of one guy. He's Australian.
Okay. All right.
That's right, Shane O'Neill. Right, I don't know him. All right.
All right. That's gonna be it for Dissonant Waves.
Yeah, we'll figure out what our project is over the break. Could be Tony Hawk starts a book club.
I'm gonna be Dominic. You can catch me online somewhere. I'm on the Games My Mom Found podcast sometimes. We're gonna do an episode about Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker by the time this is up, so look forward to that.
I've been written on. If you're listening along and you want to be interviewed on our podcast, just message Dominic. I think our goal for next year is to try and get more interviews. So
even if you want to be interviewed again,
yeah, anything. If you know somebody as well, if you're listening and you've already been interviewed and don't want to be interviewed again, but you know somebody who wants to be interviewed, just send them our way. We won't give them listeners, but we will give them a chance to talk shit.
I mean, I'm sure we could talk to Bottom Surgery at some point. Hint, hint.
Oh shit.
Trix, who are you?
Who am I? I don't know. Anyways, I've been Trix. And you can catch me sleeping.
All right. Well, that's gonna be it for us for the year. Thank you for listening, everybody. Dissonant Waves forever.
Dissonant Waves.
Dissonant Waves.
Dissonant Waves.
Rex, can you give us some outro music?
I put it away. So hold on. Do I have my fucking harmonica? Yeah, hold on.
I'm halfway through a burrito.
Guys, it's time, finally, for the greatest outro music of all time. This is called Improvised Harmonica Solo.
Hell yeah.
Please clap.
Good night, everybody.
Because my hands are full.
For the interest of my neighbors, I'm just not going to play a full harmonica solo.
Hell yes.
But now for real, good night.
Goodbye.